Hey everyone, Kitana here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video. And today we're talking about your third house. And more importantly, what your third house planets say about you. Okay, so when it comes to the third house, it deals with this core theme of willpower. It deals with this theme of courage and your ability to initiate things. And it also represents how we communicate and how we interact with the things around us, how we interact with our immediate surroundings. But the seed essence is bravery and courage. So you need bravery, you need courage to speak up, to communicate, and to interact with things around you. And basically by looking at your third house, you can see how you communicate, how brave you are, and how you interact with your immediate surroundings. And as always, if you don't know the planets in your houses yet, I will link down below the calculator. And this information in this video can apply to any chart that you look at. So you can look at your Western chart, your Vedic chart, whole sign chart, etc. And this will be relevant for that chart that you do look at. If you have the sun sitting in your third house, when it comes to communication, you can be someone who has a very authoritative way of communicating. And also you can have a way where you communicate that is very prideful about your ideas. You're very fixed on whatever your ideas are. And when it comes to your ability to fight, your ability to compete, your willpower in general, your courage, you can be someone who is quite courageous, someone who is bold, not afraid to start things, not afraid to be brave. You can be someone who's really self-reliant and independent, can start your own projects well, can start new things, be bold. And this can also make you very competitive as well. So it's safe to say with this placement, you can fight well, not necessarily literally, but you can fight for what you want. You can be competitive and have a lot of willpower. And when it comes to your immediate surroundings and how you interact with surroundings, you might find that you put yourself in places where you can express yourself well, where you can be seen well, and you can have that ability to really adapt to your surroundings based on whatever resonates with your identity. If you have the moon sitting in your third house, you might find that when it comes to communication, you're very expressive. Maybe you express a lot of creative ideas, have a lot of ideas, and you might also find that you're very receptive and receptive to the ideas around you. This can create you being a little bit impressionable as well. And when it comes to your ability to have willpower and courage, you can find that you're not very confrontational. You're not very competitive. Maybe you're a little bit hesitant when initiating things. So you might not have that strong of a force when it comes to initiating or starting new things. But generally, it can make you a little bit more cautious before starting things. And when it comes to interacting with your immediate surroundings with Moon in the third, you might find that you want to emotionally connect with things around you, emotionally connect before you can express your ideas, and you want to feel safe in your immediate surroundings. If you have Mercury in your third house, you might be someone who's very expressive with your words, very talkative. You might have a lot of ideas, someone who's really quick-witted, and also very persuasive as well. And when it comes to your ability to fight, your ability to be courageous, your ability to have willpower and be competitive, you can be someone who is more intellectual when it comes to fighting. So you can be great at debating, for example, great at verbal arguments. And you might not be someone who's that confrontational or that competitive with people. You can be someone who is that way, but on a more mental level. This can create the energy of a trickster where you're really great at mental games, strategy, and doing things with more mental dexterity rather than physical or straightforward energy. And when it comes to how you interact with your immediate surroundings, you can find that you're someone who is a multitasker, someone who's great at exchanging things, exchanging ideas, always doing a million things at once. There's that strong energy of multitasking here with this placement. If your Venus is in the third house, when it comes to communication, you can find that you're someone who communicates in a very pleasant way, in a way that is maybe poetic or creative. And when it comes to your willpower, your courage, your ability to fight and do things like that, you can be someone who's not very confrontational, not argumentative, not someone who's terribly keen on starting everything or being this person who is very initiatory, but someone who is very agreeable naturally. And when it comes to how you interact with your immediate surroundings, you can find that you want to be surrounded by beautiful things. You want to interact in a beautiful way, interact in a pleasant way, in a way that brings harmony to you, in a way that does secure balance in your immediate surroundings. And if Mars is in your third house, when it comes to communication, you can find that you're someone who is a very bold and blunt communicator, someone who can be a little bit aggressive as well with how you communicate your ideas. And when it comes to your ability to be courageous and have willpower, this placement can make you very competitive. And this can make someone be very dominant, brave, heroic. Overall, you have a very courageous way of handling things, and you can be a natural leader. This gives you the strong ability to fight. And in the beginning, we talked about the third house having this ability to fight is represented here. And Mars is a very strong placement here because it gives you that ability to fight, be competitive, maybe not literally fight, but definitely face obstacles with a certain bravery and dominance about you. And when it comes to your immediate surroundings and how you interact with your immediate surroundings, you can find that you tend to dominate certain situations or dominate your surroundings. You want to conquer things maybe. You can be very hands-on with your surroundings, touching things, being very physical there. And you also might be someone who's very adventurous or thrill-seeking with your surroundings. If Jupiter is in your third house, when it comes to communication, you can be someone who is very knowledgeable. And the way you communicate is in a very pleasant way, in a way that is almost like a teacher. And when it comes to your ability to be courageous, your ability to fight and have willpower, you can be someone who is more helpful, more generous, more agreeable overall. Maybe you don't like confrontation, you don't like arguing, but you're more so someone who will support someone else, agree with someone else, be very generous with people there. And when it comes to how you interact with your surroundings, you might find that you want to be surrounded by things you enjoy. You want to interact in an enjoyable way, a pleasant way, and interact in a way that expands your experiences, expands what you know or what you can do. And that can make you very adventurous, very keen on expanding your skills, for example. And also, when it comes to interacting with your immediate surroundings, you might find that you like learning and being around things you can learn from, gain knowledge from in general. If you have Saturn in your third house, you might find when it comes to communication that you're more serious about how you communicate, you're more strategic, logical, and more structured with how you communicate your ideas. This can also create this theme of being a little bit more introspective, where you think a lot before you speak. And when it comes to your ability to have willpower or be courageous, you can be someone who is very resilient, someone who doesn't give up easily, someone who puts a lot of effort into things and doesn't quit on the first sign of defeat. Resilience is a really strong theme here, and this also might create the ability to be very strong and straightforward and logical in the face of obstacles. And it can give you that ability to be competitive and be very stern in how you want to achieve things and not really quit until you do. And when it comes to how you approach your surroundings, and especially your immediate surroundings, you can be someone who's a little bit more cautious, a little bit more strategic overall, where you think things out, you plan things out, and you approach things in a very stable way overall. If Neptune is in your third house, when it comes to communication, you might find that you're somebody who communicates in a very intuitive way, in a way that is poetic or creative. You're someone with a lot of creative ideas, creative thoughts. You might even have some psychic abilities where you just tap into the kind of frequencies around you and express yourself that way. There's not a lot of structure here with Neptune being in your third house in terms of communication. And when it comes to your ability to fight, your ability to be courageous and have willpower, you can be someone who is not too keen on fighting, not very argumentative, someone who's a little bit more agreeable and not really trying to be at odds with other people. And when it comes to how you approach your immediate surroundings, you can be someone who approaches your surroundings in a very intuitive way. You use your intuition to know whether or not you want to be in a certain place, be around certain people. There's that really strong intuition. If you have Uranus in your third house, when it comes to communication, you might be someone who communicates in a way that is outside of the box. You might communicate in a way that kind of shocks people. You can be someone who is an innovative thinker. You have innovative ideas, and therefore be a little bit misunderstood because of that. But nonetheless, when it comes to your ability to fight, your ability to be courageous, bold, etc., and really have that sense of willpower, you're someone who is actually very courageous, someone who can be bold, someone who is more impulsive, and not really afraid to start new things. This is the definite placement of being someone who's good at starting things, being good with initiative. And when it comes to approaching your immediate surroundings and how you interact with your surroundings, you can be someone who is kind of erratic or inconsistent. Maybe you kind of like to be online or interact with the internet a lot, or you just generally interact in a way that isn't very consistent. You have Pluto sitting in your third house. When it comes to communication and how you communicate with people, you can be someone who communicates in a way that is very intimidating, domineering even. It can create this theme of being a little bit more introspective as well, being more contemplative. Maybe you're not that expressive all the time with all of your true ideas. Maybe you keep a lot of them secret or keep them to yourself. But when it comes to your ability to be courageous, your ability to be bold or have that strong willpower, you do have that ability to be very straightforward with what you want to do and have that ability to start things and naturally be very strategic as well. This does give strong willpower overall. And when it comes to interacting with your immediate surroundings and how you do so, you can be someone who interacts in a way that is a bit more extreme, in a way that is kind of like you do interact or engage a lot or not at all. So there's kind of like that extreme with Pluto, so you might experience that. And you also might be someone, again, who's a little bit more withdrawn or introspective with this placement. And let us know down below what planets you have in your third house. And thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.